No, I actually, when I signed on, when I first read the script, I went looking into online and books and stuff like that. Rita Comer, the character I'm playing, is actually from Dublin, so it was pretty easy to find where she's from, and not too far from where I'm from. And yeah, because the court case was quite a big news story at the time, there's a lot online. And there is a couple of books written about the kind of the gangland, the crimes and stuff that happened and the events that happened back in that time. So I did a little bit of research while I was reading the script, just because I knew it was based on true story. I wanted to see about it, and I also knew that Rita was Irish, so I just wanted to figure out where in Ireland and that kind of thing. And then when I got the part and signed on to the film, then the research got a little bit more. So I was more ordering books, reading up about it, and yeah. So I think because Rita was a real person and had a life, and was her story is real. I found that a real challenge to kind of look into the facts, and you do have to stick on the facts, but you also have so many kind of chunks of the story that you have to fill, and you have to decide, okay, which way would it have gone. So there is a bigger responsibility because it's a real person, definitely, but it also helps me more, I think, because instead of just kind of creating the backstory and doing preparation for the character, normally you just kind of go off and you just decide yourself between you and the director. I think the reason why Rita stayed with Jack is she loved him, and the one thing about Rita in this whole story is she's probably the only character within the script that has a moral compass. She's the only one that kind of has any kind of, there's no grey area. It's either black and white, and she just knows that it's right or wrong, or so I think in that way she's definitely different from everybody else in the film. And I think with Jack, she just loved him, and when you love somebody, you do anything for them and you fight for them, and I think she wants better for Jack, and she's desperately trying to get him away from this life. But also, the time that it's set in, women were very much kind of second thought to the men, and that's just the time and the era that this is based in. So as much as she was fighting, it's interesting because a lot of the arguments that they're having, for the time, she was actually quite ahead of it. She was quite feisty to her husband, and I think back then that really wasn't the case. So there's an interesting dynamic when Rita comes into Jack's life, and you kind of see Jack soften and become a little bit more do as you're told kind of character, which is nice, and it's a nice human part of the story. And there is a lot of relationships within this film, but this particular one is, I think you really want Rita to succeed so badly in what she's trying to do. Well, I hope so anyway. I hope that's what people take from it. When I read the script, the thing that jumped out at me most is, for a character that comes in 60% into the film, she pretty much has such a massive impact at the end, and that is really how the story changes, and she is the kind of catalyst to, the change of the, because up until the point that Rita comes into Jack's life, everything is just the same. There's violence, they're killing each other, they're robbing, there's, it's just a never-ending cycle. So she is the kind of thing that comes in and shakes it up. Yeah, absolutely, and she is strong, and she doesn't take any prisoners. She's not afraid of Jack. She's not afraid of standing up to her husband, and she's not afraid to do what she believes is right. And I think, again, you go back to like pre-war, post-war, when this is based, really women kind of let the men be in charge. So for such a huge gangland boss to actually have his wife be the driving force behind his decisions is quite interesting, I think. Yeah, I mean, when I first met Terry, Simon, the director, wanted us to kind of spend a bit of time together outside of the film. So we went on a dinner date, and I think he called his wife obviously to let her know. But there was we went out and just kind of got to know each other. Bye, Roland. We went out for dinner and just kind of got to know each other on a friendship level, on a human level, and what he's been through in his life, what I've been through in my life, and to have that kind of silent, understanding. And I think in a scene you can tell if two people have never met before, and you kind of want to have that just that energy within a scene, that it's just comfortable and they're obviously friends, and that wall, that barrier is gone. So that was pretty much diminished before we started filming. But like our first day together, we were like making love. So I mean, it was pretty there's still acting, and there's still, you're going through all a range of emotions. I think we were arguing was the first scene of the day, and then you have to be able to kind of go from 0 to 60 very quickly on first day of filming, because you don't have time to get to know people, and you don't have time to build this relationship, so you're trying to cram it in on a personal level. But it just means you're more comfortable with each other, and you can have a laugh, and it's good. He's great. He's a great husband, I have to say. I love working with Simon. I think Simon, I remember I had a phone call with him when I got the role, and we had a very long conversation about Rita and who she was and her story, and I loved hearing his take on it. And I think because Simon also has written the script, I think he already has pre-planned so many shots in his head that he really knows how he wants the story to go. So I've got a lot of direction from Simon. I feel very safe around him. I don't feel like I'm kind of questioning what I'm doing, but also he gives us the freedom to kind of go with it. He'll say, do whatever you want in this take at the end, whatever you feel is right, and that's great, because you do want to be with a director that gives you the freedom to be whatever you want to be in that moment. But I go into the scene knowing what he's trying to achieve, and it's kind of the dream scenario, I think. So. Yeah, the scene where myself and Jack got attacked, we shot it a few days ago now. It was a night shoot. Really, to be honest, there is some stunts involved, and there's that practicality of it, but when you're in it and you're in the brutality of it, you're not really thinking about should I be doing this now, because it's pretty natural, you know what I mean? You are quite scared, and obviously I'm pregnant in this movie as well, so this is not a real bump. So I think when your whole family is at jeopardy, your child, your husband, like everything could be gone in a second. It's the panic. It's just the sheer panic. So, I had I was very drained after it. It was a lot of screaming and a lot of violence. But it's interesting because there's so many fight scenes in this film, but that's the one that's kind of borders. They're attacking a pregnant woman. And for me, it was when I was reading the script, I was like, no, you know what I mean? They don't do that, do they? So. It was intense to film, but also a lot of fun.
So a good experience all around.
Oh, the whole project has been a great experience all around, and I just love, like for me personally, I love that era. I love the 1940s, 50s kind of. I really feel like it was so glamorous, and it's nice to do that kind of, like a timepiece and a period piece, but also to have real relationships in it. I think everybody can relate to somebody who they will do anything for and desperately love them, and that's really what Jack and Rita are all about. And but Jack has an ego and he doesn't want to let go of the crime. I think the film has everything that a gangster movie has and should have, and what gangster fans look for in a film. But really, there is a huge story in here. There's 2 marriages. That's kind of the two main kind of relationships. There's friendships, betrayal. So there's so much more than just your gangsters beating up each other. But I've seen some of the fight scenes and they're incredible. The one, like, not just the one that I got attacked in. I've seen some of the stunt work and stuff. So I think it has it's one for the guys and the girls, if you get me. Gangster fans, but also for people that want to watch a story. And it's a true story, and that's always good. I always love watching things that were based on true events because it's interesting. And you know, we've been to a lot of the places where the events actually happened during filming this, so yeah, it's very special.